Hey church family, Pastor Andrew back here with you once again for our Sunday recap of our Sunday message. The question I want to ask you is, do you know anybody in your life who always puts salt or pepper on their food without even tasting it first? Is that person you? Well, my wife and I have a garden, and in that garden we've grown green beans and zucchini and squash, cucumbers, jalapenos even this year. But we definitely grow quite a few tomatoes. And my wife grew up taking garden tomatoes and other garden vegetables and would make salsa, tomato sauce, even a pizza sauce. And so she started doing that here this year and made some excellent pizza sauce that we used to make our own pizza here a couple weeks ago. And so as she makes the pizza sauce, I'm taking care of getting the pizza stuff ready. So we've got a crust that we bought from the local grocery store, and then we're slowly, very carefully pouring the pizza sauce onto the crust to make sure that it's got an even distribution. And my wife doesn't like sauce, too much sauce, and I like a lot of sauce, so we tried to balance that out. We both really like cheese. It's a problem, but we dumped a whole bunch of mozzarella cheese on there, added some sausage and pepperoni to cover that pizza with, and baked it. It was fantastic. Loved it. I would do that over frozen pizza every time. Well, as we think about seasoning our lives, what do we allow to season our lives, just as we season the tomatoes to give them a pizza flavor? Where else are we also flavoring other people's lives? If we think about it as far as influence, other people influence us, other people are seasoning us with their presence and their involvement. Where are we then flavoring other people in their lives? Maybe we think about it as, am I seasoning other people with pessimism or negativity or just downtroddenness and cynicism? Or am I choosing to flavor other people with encouragement, with belief, with, hey, you've got this. Hey, let's figure out how to make this work. Let's figure out what we can do to come alongside one another. Is it possible that there's a recipe that we've been given to be able to live a life, not just to live alive or to live a good life, but to live a life of seeking after Jesus? Have we been given that recipe? Kind of like we all want grandma's recipe for that really good dish or that really good dessert that she makes, but she's unwilling to share that recipe with us. She's going to take it with her to the grave. But when it comes to our Christian faith, when it comes to seeking after the Lord, what we understand is that He hasn't kept the recipe secret. He hasn't kept the recipe hidden away for only Him to know or only Him to be able to influence and make a difference in other people's lives with. What He does is He seasons us and He flavors us so that we can then also have those same seasonings and flavorings that He has commanded are the best ways to approach life, that He has a way that we ought to live. Not just to correct our behaviors and do things as a robot should, but to do things in such a way where we live free because of we are so influenced and seasoned and flavored by the Lord. I think of whenever I go out to grill, maybe I'm grilling pork chops. All I do is I add some seasoning, salt, put them on there, and let them do their thing. Straightforward, simple. And many times we look at the Christian faith as it's almost too simple. All I got to do is put my faith in Jesus, then I'm good, right? But if we have to actually acknowledge that there's a cooking process that takes place, not just the seasoning, but the cooking process of I am surrendering to the Lord every day. I'm surrendering to Him, and I'm understanding that He has purposes beyond that I even can imagine. He has purposes beyond what I can even dream of. And if I would just surrender to Him, He has this seasoning, He has this flavor that He wants to add to our pork chops, to our lives, that He wants to bring in and have an explosion of flavor. Maybe you're going to be grilling chicken. The best way that I've experienced grilling chicken is to marinate that chicken beforehand. To marinate in our time with the Lord, to pursue knowing Him. To pursue knowing Him in different ways, whether it's in prayer, The power of prayer, don't discount it. It's not passive, it's active. It's calling on the Lord to intercede and intervene. The most powerful being in the universe wants to come and be a part of, even helping us pursue him. Maybe it's prayer. So maybe it's even time in worship, whether that's just sitting in the presence and letting him soak and wash over us with his presence as we seek after encountering and pursuing and knowing him. As we let that chicken marinate and that chicken infuses with that flavor and with that seasoning, we become that which is the flavor. We become that which is the seasoning of the Lord. And then maybe we've got to add in the potatoes and the zucchini and the squash. We got to add in those vegetable pieces. And many times when I'm grilling, I start those first. I start those on the grill first because they take some time to make and to bake and to grill. We wrap them typically in packets of foil, or we'll put them in a grill basket. And we're making sure that we're adding the seasoning and the oil so that they can cook and the steam can be doing its job inside those foil packets, or the heat can be doing its job in the grill basket. But we have to keep an eye on them. We want to keep checking them. We want to open up that foil to make sure that things are cooking. But when we do that, we lose the steam. We lose the heat inside those packets. And so often what we tend to do is we want to get an idea of what the Lord is doing, and we start undermining where he wants us to trust him. We start saying, Lord, I don't know where you're going with this. I'm not sure if I can surrender right now. I'm not sure if I really want to spend time with you because this is going right now. I've got things that are going good, or I've got things that are going terrible. Lord, I'm not sure about this. But if we're surrendering to him and we're pursuing knowing him and we are trusting him every day, choosing to do those things, what comes out of it is that a wonderful meal is placed before us. A wonderful meal for us to then share with other people. Jesus desires to bring his flavors and his seasonings to us and to sprinkle them upon us. And he desires for us to then share that meal with others around us. Come on, church family. Where are we being seasoned? What are we allowing to season and influence us? And where are we then flavoring and infusing in those people, in our relationships around us? Whether it's in our church family, whether it's with that neighbor, that coworker, that in-law, whoever it might be. Can we have a gaze fixated on the Lord and that his desires become ours? And as we surrender to him, as we spend time pursuing him, and as we trust him, we know that he's good and we know that he loves us. And as followers of Jesus, we want to seek after him. He says that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. We can make faith and religion in life so complicated. But is it possible that there's a recipe that we've been given? Not that every single minute thing is figured out, but that the recipe is there for seeking after him. And what comes out of that is more of him. Love you, church family. We'll see you soon.